and Dillon from PeakBot, a really cool startup that's kind of bringing some trading algos to retail investing. Something that has long, basically since its existence, algorithmic trading and quant trading has been reserved for only the biggest hedge funds and the richest on Wall Street. And PeakBot is trying to kind of change that by bringing it to retail investing. We're going to talk to them about that. So I'm really excited for that interview. 12:35 might have a special appearance from someone here in the BZ office. AB, it's St. Arbucks. Oh, I see what you're saying. Starbucks, but St. Arbucks. But yeah, guys, 12:16 now. So without further ado, if I get a thumbs up from Ben and Dillon, if they're ready in the background, we'll go ahead and give them our special intro. Bring them on the show. Ben, Dillon, how's it going? Welcome to Benzinga Live.
Hey there, Aaron. How are you doing?
What's going on, Aaron? Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thanks for hopping on. I'm doing well. So before we get started, I'm going to turn it over to you guys, or Ben, just why don't you give us just a brief introduction, kind of the elevator pitch, 60 seconds on what PeakBot is, what it is you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you kind of summed it up well. We're taking algorithms and bringing them to the everyday trader. So historically speaking, the stock market is traded on algorithms. Large institutions, hedge funds use algorithms. We're now taking that ability and the power to do that and putting it in the hands of the everyday retail trader. And our mission here is really to make it as affordable as possible for the everyday user. We want to level that playing field. We want, everybody to have the ability to use a piece of technology that can now be available to everybody.
So my first question, Ben, is I imagine, granted, I don't know too much about the algorithmic trading world, quant trading, but from what I understand and what I assume is that a lot of these, quant firms and hedge funds that are utilizing algorithmic trading strategies are able to be profitable because they're doing it on such a large scale, meaning that they're making probably like a little bit of money per trade, but they're doing it at such a large scale they end up making a lot of money.
Right.
How does that work in the retail sense, right? Like my retail account's not going to have as big of a assets under management as Renaissance. So how can I make actual money using an algorithm?
Totally, and it's a great point. So what you're referring to is probably high frequency trading, where hedge funds are trying to make just a couple of points off of each trade. What we're doing is we're taking strategies that people might be executing manually. You were just talking about swing trading AT&T and picking up a dividend every now and then.
Yeah, what do you think about that, by the way?
Oh, I'm swing trading AT&T right now as well. I'm actually using PeakBot. I'm using PeakBot to sell cash secured puts, and then if I get assigned a position, I'm going to just switch over to selling covered calls. That's the wheel strategy. And then I'm going to collect the dividend along the way. That's actually one of our strategies that we are automating. So it actually folds in really well. So that's a real life use case where I'm trading the wheel strategy using our automation to trade AT&T. I'm making money on premiums. I'm collecting dividends. That's just going to keep flowing in the background as I go about my everyday work.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but to answer your question, really the aim is to take these more popular and well-known strategies that we could be trading manually and just take all of the human element out of it. When we look at what we have available now, we have what's called our momentum-based bot. So we're looking at technical indicators, so MACD, RSI, moving averages. You as a trader might be looking at a chart and determine there's a stock that's on an uptrend, and you might want to trade that. And that's essentially what this bot is doing. So we're not trying to do anything, high frequency. We're not including any sort of artificial intelligence, not yet at least. We're really focusing in on the basics of trading. What are those basic trading strategies? And we're automating it. We're taking the human element out. We're giving people their time back, and people are getting the sense of, hey, this technology is now available to me.
Yeah, and Aaron, if you don't mind, first of all, thanks again for having us. Just to add to Ben's point, really, Aaron, what it boils down to is exactly what Ben's saying, right? We're trying to save you time and money while eliminating fear and greed, right? By taking your emotion out of it. So really what we're doing here is we're just bridging that gap. And one of our main focuses is really trying to provide the simplest, most cohesive user experience, right? With virtually no barrier to entry to where anybody can do this, both the active trader and the new trader as well. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, thanks, Dillon, for clarifying that. I've seen some good questions flying in the chat. Oh wait, I don't know if I thought this was about the but he says locations. Are the algorithms like if I signed up for the PeakBot algorithm, do I like get to see what it is, or is it proprietary to the point where like you don't really know what you're investing in or how the algorithm is investing your money?
Great question. So, I mean, the actual code you won't get to see.
Right, I'd imagine.
But you will get to see all of the indicators that we're using. And we actually just made a decision over the past couple of weeks that we're going to start publicizing anonymously, but we're going to start publicizing all of our users' results just for the sake of transparency. You know, we really want to, I mean, we realize that we are sort of a done for you platform. So somebody comes on, they use our algorithms. There's not many configurations they have to go through, and they kind of just have to trust it. So in order to combat that, you know, question of should I trust this platform, we said, hey, take a look at our results, take a look at what people are doing, and decide if this is for you. It's not for everybody, and that's fine. But you know, algorithmic trading is here. It's here for the retail user. We see it in the form of signal providers. We see it in the form of build your own bots. We see it in the form of done for you, which is kind of the format that we fit into. Algorithmic trading is here, and we want to be the company to make it as easy for anybody to join, and we want to be as transparent as possible to increase that trust factor, because that's so important here.
Yeah, and Aaron, the point we're really trying to get across is that the fact that this is hands-free trading, right? That's kind of the hashtag we've run with, but that's exactly it, right? You can look at our content, and really what we're trying to showcase is whether you are an active trader and you're staring at a stock chart all day, and that is the way you provide your income, fantastic. No reason you shouldn't have PeakBot running in the background, but for the average everyday person who has the 9-to-5 job, is taking care of the kids, taking care of family, running around like crazy, right? This is a stock trader in your pocket. And I think what's important to know, Aaron, is that we are integrated with TD Ameritrade. So the largest retail broker, that's where our bots are actually executing the trade on your behalf, right? So it's not alerting you when it's time to buy or sell, which is fantastic, right? That's great, but right, Aaron, that's really only the first half of the equation. That alert is only as good as your response time. So what we're doing is trying to say, hey, you don't have to be attached to your phone, distracted at work. The trade's going to be executed on your behalf through your broker that you already have an existing account.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool, and you answered one of my next questions, Dillon, about where you said TD Ameritrade is kind of where I didn't know if essentially someone, I'm sure you're working on more integrations beyond just TD Ameritrade, but if someone could use PeakBot no matter where they're trading stocks or what it is. So you answered that question for me. But like you said, what I think is so cool about this is it might be something that's really cool for someone who is pretty active when it comes to trading, but maybe you can't for the next couple months, but you don't want your portfolio to just be stagnant. You don't want to just be sitting in cash. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to have as much time to trade over the next couple months here. I'm going to let the PeakBot algo do it, and then I'll still be checking in on it, but it's not going to take as much up of my time as I was when I was had more time to be day trading all day essentially.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know what, Aaron, we actually just did a quick study for Voice of Customer. So we went back and we talked to some of our traders, and we said, hey, why PeakBot? And Dillon, I know you've got some results on deck here. You want to just read through some of the whys that we received from our users?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for mentioning that, Ben. You know, what we've noticed, Aaron, and anybody listening, is that the search was on for this, right? There are individuals who were already looking to automate their stock trading. What they found is a lot of times that's really already happening in crypto. You see a lot of futures, maybe some Forex. However, people were, you know, the lone soldier, boring old stock equities. Everybody was figuring out, hey, how do we automate that, right? And so whether it's, you know, we have a subscriber who's a pilot, they're traveling 17 days of the month, that, you know, going in and out of time zones, they can't possibly manage their day or swing trading. You know, just taking a look at some of the others is people wanted to take their emotions out of trading, right? That's the biggest error everybody makes. You know, fear and greed gets in the way. Others are almost treating it as an experiment, right? Because it is relatively low risk here. I think it's important to mention, Aaron, that we're really trying to provide this for the everyday individual. The way we price this is a subscription model, and it costs $60 quarterly for our tier one, you know, tier one subscription. So again, not to be, you know, too salesy here, but the idea is that we really want to be able to bring this to everybody. And if you wanted me to, Aaron, I can feel free to share my screen and show you.
Yeah. You
what
should
the
have
app looks like. Okay, fantastic.
a button down there on the bottom. I've found it's easier to share like a specific tab or window,
Okay,
rather than your whole screen.
sure. Let me see what I can do.
We're
Sorry.
getting some different questions in the chat. B9 2019 says he loves this idea. Someone's asking what is the cost to subscribe. I think you just answered that. Urban Farms is asking minimum invest. Can you start with like 2K or 5K?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can take that last question, Dylan, while you pull that up. So minimum amount to invest, it's up to you ultimately to choose the stocks and the amount that you want to invest into each stock. However, we do recommend at least over $2,000 in your trading account, just so that way we can utilize margin. We're not necessarily going to trade with margin, but we want to be able to recycle that money. And if you're not trading with margin, just for anybody that might not know, you have to wait a couple of days for your cash to clear before you can reuse it after exiting a position. So while PeakBot might be executing a trade, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, if we have to wait for your cash to clear, then we won't be able to execute as many trades as we might have liked. So that's why we use margin. We usually tell people, hey, put $2,500 into a TD account, try it out. We do offer 2 weeks for free, so get the feel for it, and see if you like it.
Yeah,
So,
and I know. Oh yeah, Dylan, you want me to go ahead and pop your screen up?
Completely up to you. Happy to answer questions before we do so. You are the host.
No, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to like pop your screen up and you have.
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Account details on there, or how much you have in your brokerage account. I don't know. So I've done that before, so I don't want to repeat the same mistakes.
I've done that before myself. What I'm showing here is all kosher. I think we're good to go.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, so this is just on the app.usepeakbot.com. I can go ahead and drop that link in the chat as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, and if you guys, Aaron, can you see my screen successfully?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Okay. I want to make sure that I'm respectful of our time here, but basically what I wanted to show you, Aaron, is that, yes, this is the home screen. So it is a web-based app. This is not going to be found in an app store just yet, but it is mobile friendly. This is something you're able to save to your home screen. So what you're seeing here, again, keep in mind, we're integrated with TD Ameritrade. So although you see our active budget here for what's activated for our bots, AKA algorithms, strategies, whatever you want to call it, note that nothing's ever leaving your broker account. Just know that we're integrated with your TD Ameritrade account in here. So what you can see here is this is our portfolio, right? So in this specific account, I only have 6 stocks activated. But if I wanted to show you really where the magic happens, the whole idea, as I mentioned earlier, Aaron, is the simplest user experience, right? You know, say what you want about, everybody has their opinions on, you know, Robinhood, but really what we're doing is we're taking the Robinhood approach to automated trading. So in 3 clicks, we want you to be able to come in here, choose your bot, right, which is you would subscribe to on a quarterly basis at a low cost. Select your stocks. Aaron, you were talking about Starbucks and AT&T earlier, right?
Yep.
So if I can come in here, I can search Starbucks. You can also search AT&T. You can search it by the ticker or the name of the business. I wanted to add both of these here. I can enter my budget. Now, note that we do cap you. There's actually a capital allocation limit per stock that changes per tier. We do that for a couple reasons. A, of course, we want you to diversify. Look, right, we're no golden bullet. If you come in here and pick bad stocks at a bad time, you're probably going to lose. Hopefully you lost less because PeakBot got you out of Dodge. But the whole idea is to diversify. So without running on, you see I hit activate there, and now you'll see that my active budget jumped up and that those stocks were now added into my portfolio here. And you can see active, which means that the bot is now actively scanning the market for a buyer.
Did you actually just do that?
Yeah, that's. I hope you said those were on your watch list, so I'm taking your word for it. That's live. That's going to happen. So if I was to keep these on here, my bot most likely is going to find, over either today or the next few days, an opportunity to buy, and I'm going to be notified.
Just so we're clear, I said I was waiting on Starbucks a little bit, but I was on my watch list.
So good point, Aaron, and interrupt me here if you'd like, but I'll just show you something really quick. Of course, we have to give the trader the full autonomy and control over their positions, right? We're not financial advisors. Let me just, put something up on the bottom of the screen. It's not financial advice. We do provide watch lists, right, to do as much hand holding as possible. But just to show you, if you wanted to get out of these positions, you can check these boxes and then hit edit status, and you'll be given the option to pause the position, right? So for whatever reason you didn't want it to buy, or maybe you didn't want it to sell, your bot now knows not to. You can come in and resume that. And let's say you wanted to, maybe you've been on Starbucks for a few months and you're kind of done with it, or AT&T as well, and you want to just remove it after your next sell order, you can hit smart exit, and that's going to know, hey, get me out of this position and don't get me back in.
Yeah, I mean, so I connected with Ben on the phone last week, and we talked, and I was, I'm always interested in getting new, different startups, and you guys are younger people trying to make make shit happen in the finance world. I'm always down to tell these stories. I had no clue, essentially, what this all entailed, and I'm thoroughly impressed and interested myself. Really cool shit you guys are building and doing over here. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I can stop sharing unless, of course, there was anything else you wanted to see. Happy to pop it back up. Happy to answer any questions. But I just wanted to show you, this is the bot shop. This is where the individual would come and actually subscribe to a strategy. And again, this is where we try to provide as much information as humanly possible, right? Without sharing the thousands of lines of code. And then we can share our back test. Obviously the nice thing about this is we're able to back test. I won't say unlimited amounts, but this is our.
I'm curious about the decision, essentially, because I'm sure, was the idea always to allow users to select certain stocks and then to have the algorithm essentially go to town on those certain stocks, or was it ever just okay, invest X amount of money, now we're using our PeakBot algorithm and it's going to do what it does and you have no say in where it's going?
Yeah. Ben, I can make a quick comment on this. One thing I think that's important to know, Aaron, is yes, to answer your question, our bot, as you saw there, if the stock is in that portfolio, our bot, at least that bot, which is called Momentum, it's a momentum-based swing trading equities, right? So not options or anything else, which we have coming in the pipeline. But our bot is going to actively swing trade that stock until you remove it, like I showed you. So for example, you might trade Starbucks 22 times over the next quarter, hoping that, you win 12 or 13 of those trades and you get out. And this is not a get rich quick thing, right? Very important to know. This is not hey, let's just go dump all of our money into 2 stocks and see what happens. We just want the active trader or the retail trader to be able to make smart trades without having to be locked to their computer screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is there a way I could use PeakBot essentially without wanting to even do my own selection of stocks, or would I just want to do it then all right, select the S&P 500, then use the same strategy, or how would that work?
Right. As of right now, I mean, we're not registered investment advisors, financial advisors of any kind. So we leave the stock picking up to the user, and we've actually had good feedback on that. People get a sense of pride when, even by choosing a good stock and then seeing it perform well. However, like Dillon mentioned, we do offer a watch list. We do want to be there for handholding wherever it might be needed. And that watch list is available on our website. Just use peakbot.com, not in this specific app. So you can see what we're trading. That watch list is, we have a third co-founder on here, Dalton, who's he's actively trading that account or those stocks on his account at all times. So we have that resource, but as of right now, yeah, it's, you pick the stock, we make the trades.
Yeah, and I'm sure eventually, like, that makes sense. I guess from like a regulatory standpoint, why, or why it's like essentially easier to do that now, and then down the road, like you're saying, kind of having both options for people who maybe want to have more of a say in what they have in their portfolio versus some of those people who might be like, no, it's the reason I'm paying you guys. I don't want to, I don't want to do it.
Right.
And Ben and Dylan, without getting too much into obviously like the details of the algos and stuff, did you mention earlier, Ben, that kind of that wheel strategy you mentioned was kind of being employed by one of these bots?
Yeah. So right now we have 3 bots in testing. So my account is mainly used for testing. We have the wheel strategy, which is an options-based strategy. We have the Iron Condor strategy, which is another options-based strategy. And then we have an equities-based strategy for dollar cost averaging. So almost like the momentum bot that we have now, except we'll have multiple entries before we actually make an exit. So that way we get to that dollar cost averaged position.
Yeah. Wow. And how does that work in terms of actually like building these different, like, is it like one of you guys is kind of in charge of that and the other 2 are hands off, or is it something that you guys are all like collaborating on together?
Yeah, Dylan's giving you this motion. He doesn't do any of that. But it's myself and our co-founder, Dalton. I've been trading for 11 years. I have somewhat of a financial background. Dalton also has a financial background, been trading for a similar amount of time. And like I said, we're not trying to make any crazy claims here. Say our bots are going to make you 50% overnight. Like, what we're doing is we're taking these commonly used trading strategies and we're automating them. Again, going back to that whole transparency piece, we don't want anybody to come into PeakBot thinking that they're getting some piece of like unheard of technology that's going to change the way that they invest. That's not the point. And I would encourage people, to the extent that you're capable, try making your own algorithms. Like, there's becoming more and more tools available to everyday people, so that way you can. But when you decide you don't want to, PeakBot's here for you.
Yeah. I'm seeing Jose's asking a couple questions in the chat. Does this only work as TD as a brokerage? I think we answered that.
For now,
right now, yes.
Yeah, so Jose, for right now, you got to have TD. How do you know if PeakBot's trade ended profitable or if it was a loss? So wait, before you answer it, correct me if I'm wrong. The trade only ends if you end it, right?
Not necessarily. So
Okay.
The trade itself, like for example, a sell order, right? The bot's going to sell for you. Unless you remove it, unless you go into the PeakBot app and remove that stock from your portfolio, it's most likely going to, in the next day or 2 or 3 or 4, going to buy again, right? So, and to answer Jose's question, again, everything is integrated with TD. So all your results, all your orders, all your charts, everything is available in your TD Ameritrade account. And also, something we failed to mention here, Aaron, any PeakBot subscriber, any trader with us gets an email every weekend with their results. Again, sake of transparency, right? Hey, Jose, PeakBot executed 64 trades on your behalf this week. Here were the stocks that you traded, and here was your average return per trade, right? So we're giving you every piece of information, not to mention we're giving the other traders that information. We're keeping your name anonymous, but somebody in the tank might say, hey, user number 71's been at the top of the leaderboard 4 weeks in a row. What are they doing? Let me give that a look, right? So I wanted to share that as well.
What about, like, do you guys have any, oh, sorry. I just realized I was pronouncing Josue's name wrong.
Sorry about that, Jose.
Do you guys have any like competitors? Like, is there anyone else trying to bring trading algos to retails?
Yeah, there's definitely competitors, and you could view our competitors in like different boxes. So there's the done for you, which is the box that we fit in. So you kind of just log in, you kind of mess around, you pick the stocks that you want, set some configurations, and you're on your way. There's a handful of signal providers out in the market. So they'll tell you when to buy or sell based on their algorithms, but they won't actually execute the trades for you. So you still got to be, locked onto your computer, your phone. You got to be ready to make that trade. There's the build your own bot websites where, with low code, you can build your own bot. Not necessarily the most flexible, but it is possible. And then there's some bot marketplaces where you've got contributors like myself and Dalton, people who make these bots but don't have a platform of their own, and they make it available for other traders. So there's kind of these different groupings. And again, everybody's got a different preference. Where we sit, like I said, the done for you space, what we found there is that competition is really offering solutions that are complicated. And that's, Dillon kind of mentioned it before. We're taking the Robinhood approach here. And what we mean by that is we want this process to be so simple for the user. We want to provide the best customer experience. And Dillon showed it, you've got 3 fields to fill out, and you're often trading a bot. While our competitors, you might have to fill out 8, 9, 10 different fields that you might not even know what exactly those settings are doing for you, right? So we're trying to take as much of the guesswork out as we can.
Yeah. And again, I think that's an incredible idea. I think a lot of people in the chat are agreeing, which is, well, I'd be surprised, I guess, if it was such a great idea and there weren't any competitors. So it shows you're on the right track, right? That other people are trying to do something similar. So one thing you guys mentioned kind of at the top, that as far as like the strategies, or like you said, like you're not trying to like reinvent the wheel. I guess pun intended, talking about with the wheel strategy. But you're not trying to like reinvent any like crazy trading strategies, not trying to make anyone 50% overnight, just these like kind of common trading strategies, but automating them. How would you guys, are you guys putting like resources to building more like complex algorithms, or more so like, all right, let's get our feet off the ground with these simple ones first before we even start thinking about trying to build more like complex algorithms, whatever?
Yeah, great question. And that's definitely on the roadmap. However, we have to be thoughtful on how this would affect a particular stock, for example. Because let's say we have 1,000 users all trading the same stock at the same time, using some sort of AI, we would assume that position would, all those users would enter at the same time. So that could create some movement in the market that might not be desirable. So we definitely have to think through how that would affect the market. I think right now, at least for the short term, we do want to stick to these more simple strategies. We want, like we said, algorithmic trading is here for the retail trader, but for all those new traders, and I know Dillon had some notes on pop culture that maybe we could talk about if we have time, but there's a lot of new traders, especially since COVID happened, the big market dip there, the market pop. We had GameStop, AMC, that got a lot of new people involved, and they might not be as familiar with algorithmic trading. So we want to be here for those guys. We want to be here as the simple platform to get people introduced to the world of algorithmic trading.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. Just catching up on the chat real quick. No, 100%, Ben. I think it's just great idea what you guys are doing. Excited to see someone doing it, someone bringing algorithmic trading to a retail investor, because I've always wanted to have like exposure to that space, never been able to. Now I can. So Dillon, I know we have a coupon code for Zinger Nation for our Benzinga listeners out there.
Yeah, we do actually. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. Is the code just Benzinga in all caps?
All caps, Benzinga. That'll get you 20% off of a quarterly subscription. So our tier 1 quarterly is $60. But right now we're offering a 2-week free trial for a limited time. So no credit card even needed.
Hell yes.
Yeah, just hop on. integrate, and you're good to go.
Free 2-week trial, no credit card needed, so really no reason not to try it out, especially if you already have a TD account. And then again, 20% off quarterly subscription using the code Benzinga. I'll go ahead and drop that link to the site one more time in the chat, app.use.peakbot. But Dillon, Ben, thanks for coming on. It was great to learn more about the company. I'm excited to now have you guys in my kind of arsenal of people I can reach out to for experts in the algo trading world. And
For sure.
I'm sure, you guys are welcome on the show anytime. If you guys ever have updates, a new bot launching or something you want to come on and talk about, we'd love to have you.
Awesome.
Aaron, clear your schedule for next month. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for having us, Aaron. We really appreciate the time. This has been really exciting for us and our team and our other co-founder, Dalton, who's not here on the call. But again, we're really just here to educate, automate, and elevate. And for all the listeners out there, we love our phrase of "see you at the peak." So hopefully seeing you guys.
Those are two great little slogans you got there. What was it? Automate,
educate, because that's most important, right? Educate,
okay.
Automate, elevate, see at the peak.
I love that. That's amazing. Jay Rice, last question, is asking, do you have to segregate from your other TD account?
Good question. Ben, maybe you can take that.
Yeah, depends. If you want to just have an automated account, then yeah, create a separate account. I personally do my trading manually and automated in the same account because PeakBot tells me how my automations are doing. So I don't segregate. However, you certainly could.
Beautiful. Well, Ben, Dillon, thanks again for hopping on the show. Looking forward to catching up with you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your Monday and have a great week.
Thanks so much, Aaron.
Have a good one. Thank you.